Hey there. So, best I can do with this is you're gonna see part of my big head, and you might hear some of the cars zooming by, but I'm gonna close the window. There we go, a little better. Okay, so I'm not gonna show the injection. Don't worry, no injection being shown. But I wanna go through how I load the needle. And any of you who are doing some injective therapy, selfishly, I'd like people to tell me their tips and learn, but I also hope to pass on some of this information that will help somebody else out there doing this kind of thing, because I had to learn, and believe me, this is some of the scariest stuff I've ever thought about having to do, beyond maybe running my own IVs or something, which even that now, I think it might be possible. But so what I'm doing right now, the first stage of this is I take my peptides out of the cooler and their cooling pack, and then I take the bottles, the prescription bottle, take the little vials out of each one, and I line them up here on my leg. And so I have, right now, I'm on 3 different peptides. Woo, mama. And this latest one I've added in, and what I'm realizing is my body takes a little bit to adjust to them, and I think we'll have to find out. I haven't done a lot of research on these. I've put a lot of trust in my physician, and this is different than what I've done in the past. I've probably over-researched at times, but there's a fine line between being your own advocate and checking in, because there's a lot of charlatans out there. There's a lot of things that can damage you, harm your wallet, your bank account, harm your body, and not do you any good, and waste time. I've done a lot of them. And I think debating whether to kind of divulge what I'm using, but I think it's in theme with what I decided, which is full transparency with everything I do. I'm giving up a lot of privacy with this, and I hope people will be respectful. Perhaps I should seek some sort of advice on it, but I think I'm going to be very transparent. I always said if I ever used any form of hormones beyond thyroid hormone, which I do divulge, I use Armor Thyroid. I've used it for years. My mother, my sister, my grandmother, all hypothyroid, me as well. It is a hormone. So is melatonin, by the way. Which I do use sporadically in evenings for sleep. I haven't been using it lately. But if I ever went on some sort of bioidentical hormone balancing, testosterone, DHEA, HGH, I thought it would be very important to tell people, because if you're watching somebody's videos, if you're trying to gain inspiration or trying to find out what will work for you, just like if I was saying to somebody, I'm vegan, but I'm eating a bunch of fish or meat, and they're trying to get the same results, it's disingenuous. It's not telling the whole story. And for me, if you're having muscle tone, if you're putting on weight, or if you're looking a certain way and you're taking anti-aging elements that, beyond the ones that are from nature that we use, which are elements of anti-aging, I'm talking more hormonal balancing. And I don't believe there's anything wrong with using those things. But I'm not yet, and there'll be a big asterisk when I do, because for someone to expect similar results as what I'm getting without similar treatments would be completely false. So let's be honest here. And these peptides, from everything I've asked my doctor during it, I would joke with her saying, so am I going to be like tearing through my shirts in a few weeks? Kind of a joke. She's like, no. None of these are for that type of enhancement. They're more for inflammation and brain fog, and the ones that I'm taking so far. So BPC 157 is the one I've been on the longest. BPC 157. The one that I'd been on second was thymosin beta 4. I don't know if the 4 is important, but thymosin beta. I've just added thymosin alpha. Seems like in the reverse, but we did the beta before the alpha. And that's about as far as the Greek I know goes, besides restaurant and cursing. Another story. So, restaurant Greek, I mean. But I'm going to be adding another one in soon. Well, actually, I get a break here soon and then adding it in. All right, so let's get down to what I want to do. I want to show you how I do this. So I'm using a needle from, I forget the name of this type of this needle, but what I do first, I'm actually just going to fill. What I do first is usually get my alcohol preps. I use one to clean my belly, and then one to rub and clean after, to rub the injection in and really rub vigorously. So I start off with, I have to fill the BPC 157 peptide up to the 40 cc line on here. That's where I'm at now. And what I try to do is I try to line it up with the initial hole, not really easy, that I created from the larger syringe to mix with the bacteriostatic water. You'll know, I think I got it because it glides right in then. Because I don't want to dull the needle, which it happens inevitably anyway, and it's quite a struggle to get it in my belly. I spin it and spin it like so that it just kind of works its way in. Yesterday it was a struggle. And then with this one, I can pull back a little bit faster now, a little bit faster now. Let me see if I can get this in focus, sorry. But I'll pull back. It's not as important to worry about bubbles, and I'm only going subcutaneous, I should say, not intramuscular. So air bubbles not gonna go, now maybe I'm wrong, I think I heard, won't go into my bloodstream and I shouldn't worry. And then I push from lower up to the 40 mark to expunge any air bubbles. And as I can see, I did that, there's no air bubbles. I pull that out, and then I go to the beta. And so this beta, and then I try to go in there, and then I have to draw back 20 cc's of this fluid, and this I have to do very slowly, because you don't want to get any air bubbles because there's no going back from this. So I go very slowly. It's a real mindfulness practice, and I will say, easier when you're not in flare and you're not brain fogged and in pain to do. Much more difficult when you are. So there I've got down to the 50. Oh boy, I may have done, no, I think I'm right here. No, I messed up actually. I'm gonna get a little bit more BPC than I was supposed to. I was supposed to do it to the 30. And that's not because I was making a video, it's just because I had a brain lapse. And I don't think it should harm me. Probably should check with my doctor, which I will before I inject. I'm gonna call them after this and make sure that doing that much BPC shouldn't be a problem. At the worst, I'm gonna have to squirt all this out and I waste a little bit of the medicine. So there, I've gotten down to the 2 medicines, and that should have been where I finished at 60, but when I add 10 more to this, it's gonna be 70 total. And even as I do this, the needle sometimes bends. It's really hard to do this without harming the needles, careful as you are. Again, really slowly drawing back. Slow and steady wins the race. Usually. More consistently, let's put it that way, right? Okay. Bam. So now it's a loaded, ready to go syringe, and what I would normally do now is clean off my stomach and inject this. What I'm gonna have to do this time, because I added too much of the BPC. Now, the reason I can't go backwards is because there's another peptide stacked on top of it. So I'll find out, to be continued, but I wanted to show you, this is what I use. And the thing is, after you stick it in 3 things, it sometimes gets a little skewed, the needle, you can see the top, and it dulls a little bit, so it makes it, I don't know, I've been told by people who draw my blood, like I have tough skin. I mean, it's kind of soft in spots, but it's tough. My vessel walls, they say, are really tough. I'm not going into a blood vessel. I'm going right into what little subcutaneous fat I have on my belly, and I have less even on my legs where they say you could put it in. So is what it is. Some of us have a little bit more or less subcutaneous fat for ourselves, which can come in handy when you're getting stem cells, because they draw it from the fat in one way. If you're getting autologous stem cell treatment, autologous, but it doesn't mean, for example, I don't want to be as lean as I am, but just the way my body type is these days. So that's a whole nother side thing. But this is loading your syringe. I inject it, I rub it, and then I'm done. All right, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I don't know what else to say. That's it.